One thing man has always done, he's always explored new pastures. Whenever the resources ran out from one area, he migrated to another area. When things weren't going well in his country, he literally went to another country, took over that country, killed the inhabitants, and called it America. Now, I say this with a bit of tongue in cheek, but I want you guys to understand the whole essence of man. Men have always been explorers and conquerors. That's it. That's it. It's as simple as that. When we weren't happy in one place, we went to other places and took what we wanted. That was it. Welcome to the Passport Bros. That's what we're going to talk about today. Because what has happened, ladies and gentlemen, men are no longer happy or satisfied with the condition of the women in their countries. So they're basically saying, hey, I'm going to go to countries where I can get what I want.
I've not seen any women crying over passport bros.
Not exactly crying, but there are definitely a lot of videos out there of women making videos about men who are seemingly rather confused why men wouldn't want to date women in their own countries.
However, I have seen a lot of women laughing at passport bros, because we can replace men like you with cats and dogs.
That is really great news, because that means there's soon to be a great reduction in the homeless pet population.
But y'all have to literally go to another country because no other woman in your own country wants you anymore.
No, that is not why some men are choosing to go to other countries in hopes of finding their life partner. It's because many aspects of modern society, to include some aspects of modern feminism, has turned the dating pool for men into a veritable cesspool of toxic behavior.
That's what we call a whole cope, honey.
Actually, that's what we call men making the best decisions for themselves, their futures, and their mental health.
And that is what's happening with the Passport Bros. Whether you ladies accept that or not, that is your reality. So today, I want to educate you guys a little bit more about the Passport Bros. I want to explore the psychology of what's going on, the ramifications, and where we're going to end up as a society. And I want to approach it more from the Passport Bros perspective, meaning black men. And the reason for that is men, especially white men, they have been doing this for decades upon decades. White men have moved across countries, across nations to find women. Back in my day, it was called mail order brides. That was men leaving the West and finding women who were beautiful in Eastern Europe. When Eastern Europe and all of these Russia and Ukraine and Bulgaria and all of these Eastern European countries, they had massive wars. Men were dying. So what happened? All of these beautiful women were left alone. They were going through economic hardship, so they were making themselves available. Those women used to put themselves out on ads in magazines and literally advertise themselves. That was the previous dating sites, magazines. Men in the West would read these magazines and see these women available, pay a few dollars, get their numbers, and get a relationship. Yeah. So listen, guys, you know the drill. Before we proceed, please subscribe. We're growing, but we're not growing fast enough. I need you guys on there to help me get to the point where I can be self-sustainable by YouTube alone so that I can help you all full time. That's my goal. That's what I would love to do. Okay? And of course, if you just want to ask a quick question, get me over on Instagram on Ask an Older Man. But more importantly, if you want deep mentoring, understanding of a problem that you're having, whether it's with your relationship or whether it's your social media site, I'm your man. Book a session, get me over on askanolderman.com, and I'll be more than happy to work with you. Okay, so let's get into a few of these videos. It's going to be quite a few videos today because I want you guys to get inside of 3 different people. Number 1, the women who are losing their men to foreign women. Number 2, the women who are receiving those men and welcoming them into their countries because they have a shortage of good men as well. And number three, the men themselves who are going over to these countries looking for these ladies. Let's look at the beginning. Let's look at the reason why men are going. Because when you see videos like this, you will understand why men are going. We know about the 666. You know, 6 figures, 6 feet tall or more. Got to have a six pack. In other words, he got to be in good shape. And of course, you know, he has to look good. He has to be the Chad. He has to be handsome as well. So then you add this sort of attitude.
Here's a list of jobs that men should not do, especially grown-ass men, okay? For one, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's. Matter of fact, any fast food restaurant, if you think that you're a grown-ass man working in a fast food restaurant is okay, something is wrong with you, all right? Leave those jobs to the teenagers. My nephew can't even get a job right now because there's some grown-ass men in his goddamn 40s flipping my goddamn burger. Okay? Let it go. Leave it alone. That job is not for you. Anything in retail, okay? I don't want to see no grown-ass man handing me a dress, okay? Why are you a grown-ass man working at Ross? That makes absolutely no sense, okay? Target, Marshalls, like, guys, give it up. Leave these jobs to the kids. Leave these jobs to the teenagers. These are jobs you get in high school, in college.
Yeah, that's what black men have to put up with. Now, granted, not all the women are that ratchet and stupid because she's just downright stupid. But the fact that she's on air saying these things puts all of you black ladies in that light. Because unfortunately, it is the empty barrels that makes the most noise. It is these women that are just constantly screaming that they want the six-figure man and they want the entrepreneur and they want the guy that's not. So, it's insane. No, listen, she has a point. Of course, men who actually have to do those lower level jobs, they don't see those as high value jobs. No man in his right mind would ever say, hey, I work at McDonald's. I'm a high value man. No man in his right mind would think that. But a man who's working those jobs, he's saying, you know what? I'm making an honest dollar. I'm taking home an honest dollar. I'm not out there scamming people. I'm not out there mugging people. I'm not out there stealing from some old lady on the street. I'm surviving. I'm getting by until I grow and build myself. So gentlemen, if you need to work in that retail store, if you need to work at freaking Burger King, I washed dishes in my teens. Yes, I was young. Yes, I didn't do those jobs when I was older. But the point is, I had to make a few steps backwards in order to get forward. You know, I remember after my first divorce, man, I went back and lived with 3 roommates in a 2-bedroom villa because I needed to get back on my feet. Divorce isn't easy. So all I'm saying is that this woman would then condemn a man, shame him, ridicule him because he has to do that job. My average guys out there, listen, you do what you have to do. Keep your ass out of jail. Sleep good at night so you don't have to worry about somebody coming to either break down your door or come in to throw a couple of bullets in your ass because you lost your package or you didn't bring home your money. Whatever the hell it is that gangsters do when you don't do your job, right? You sleep well at night. You're tired because you had to be on your feet all day, but you did your job. But that's the kind of level of contempt and disrespect men get in the Western world. And it has become so normal in the Western Hemisphere. Women don't realize the sort of emotional damage that they're doing to their men. And this isn't just relegated to the black community. Black women are much more vocal with their men. Yes, black women are just much more ratchet because the hood life has been promoted in the black community. That's that whole gangster, bad boss, the whole crap that has infiltrated the black community, where black women don't even know how to talk properly to a man these days.
I can cater to my friends all day. Go to the death for her friend. and they will create the most cozy space for their family, the most endearing space for their best friend. But for some reason, when it comes to a man, it's a pit that you get in your stomach, like, oh hell no. And I think it's also like, what are my friends going to think if I talk about catering to my man?
The lady that I'm doing the mentoring with, the 30-year-old, I was trying to explain to her how she should talk to the man that she's talking with right now, because she don't know how to be smooth. She don't know how to use the words that would inspire the man to come to her. She have no idea. And that's the problem. Most women these days have no idea how to actually bring game to a man. Women have no game, none. So now we're dealing with a society who are literally traumatizing their men, ridiculing their men. They are not females anymore. They're all males with tits and a vagina. There, I said it. So now we know the reason why men are leaving. Let's look at where they're going. Most of these men are hitting Colombia, Philippines, Thailand, all of these countries where women are taught how to treat men from the time they're young, very young. But let's hear a little bit more shaming on what these women do to men.
Why do you think it is today that a lot of American men are going overseas to find wives?
I cannot relate. It is the real thing, but it's just insecurity. Think overseas, go overseas, babe. I completely disagree because it takes a whole lot of courage, a whole lot of self-confidence, somewhat of financial stability, and a passport, which a lot of chicks don't even have, for a man to go overseas and find his wife. And actually really be the ones who are complaining about men leaving the U.S. to find their wives. It be the women themselves. Isn't it true that you hear so many women online talking about, leave, we don't want you here, leave, go find yourself a doormat, leave, you think you're better than everybody else now since you have a passport, where are you going? Basically, women are shaming men and insulting them for trying to do better for themselves. I hear women talking about they want to do better for themselves all the time. So what's wrong when a man wants to do that for himself? Unfortunately, some women in America are not submissive, they are way too masculine, and they don't want to cater to a man. So girlfriend, you may look feminine, but if your attitude stinks, what is a man supposed to do besides moving on? And then you're going to be mad at him for it and call him insecure?
She just summed it up so nicely. This is the problem. Shame, insult, guilt, and the need to be right. Four very distinct mental weapons. Shame, insult, guilt, and the need to be right. Oh, just go. Just because you got a passport now, you think you could just get up and go? Go. That's guilt. Oh, just because he has a passport. Oh, she making him feel guilty for actually going applying for a passport. Oh, we don't need you. We don't need you. You're just dusty anyway. You don't have any money. You're broke. You can't deal with a woman like us. Insult, shame, insult, guilt. You will hear it in every single one of these videos. These women are using the same type of language.
You're a Colombian girl, you have 3-4 American guys approaching you, offering you money, and pulling out their passport, like literally, and then telling you, I'm American, like I'm actually looking for a girl, like I will bring you here, but it's just odd, like why you wanna get with a girl that doesn't speak your language, and that makes up to $200 a month, you know, it's just odd, like I don't wanna point fingers, but it's like, why are you looking for that when you can get a girl, why can you not get in America, you know, why you cannot get a girl?
Is this black guys or white guys?
I saw a lot of black guys. You know, it's odd. Like, the desperation that they exude is just weird.
So what actually happens, she was from Colombia. She's been Americanized. So now, she now has the American attitude. She's no longer Colombian. She has the flavoring of a Colombian, but she's not a real Colombian. She's been infected by the whole feminist ideal that has been pushed in America and around the Western Hemisphere. So now she's shaming the same guys that are going to her country that she's now given up. Because those men are saying, I don't want American women. Australian men are saying, I don't want Australian women. Canadian men are saying, I don't want Canadian women. Yeah, she saw a lot of black guys when she went and visited Colombia, because that's where a lot of them have looked. Because her original sisters in Colombia, they were taught how to treat a man. They were told they should have respect for men. They were told your father is a man. Have respect. All right, let's listen to this woman, and she will tell you a story about her father. Now, listen to how she talks about her father, right? Just listen to how she talks about her father. It will tell you the level of disrespect even daughters have for their father. It's so bad that she's willing to go online and talk disrespectfully about her father. All right? But she will highlight a mistake that you gentlemen do not make when you become passport bros. And the one mistake that you do not, let's listen to her and then I'll tell you at the end.
My dad is a passport bro. My dad doesn't even do social media. I don't even think he's aware of what the term passport bro is. But my father is 54 years old and recently married a 35-year-old that lives in Jamaica. And he's telling me he's building a house in Jamaica. He sends her money every week, but he got laid off from work. And she's still expecting him to send money. And he's telling her, I can't send you money because I got laid off from work. I can't work right now. I can't send you money. And so she started threatening to divorce him. And he's like, well, if you're going to divorce me because I can't send you money, then divorce me then. And I think she's actually going through with it. And I'm sitting here and I'm laughing. He's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, she wants money and I'm not working. I'm like, what did you think a 35-year-old from another country was marrying you for? And he goes, well, I'm building a house in Jamaica and I've already put all this money into it. I'm like, yeah, and if she divorces you, how are you going to get possession of that house? You live in Canada, you work in Canada, like, unless that's in your name, and I don't think you were smart enough to do that. But this man really, like, no offense to him, but he really thought this 35-year-old woman who he sends money to every single week was marrying his dusty ass. Because I love my dad, but my dad is a dusty. My dad didn't pay child support. My mom struggled so much because of my father. And to sit back and listen to him not understand that he's not a good partner and she didn't marry him because he's this attractive 54-year-old man. She married him because he had money and she wanted money and he was willing to give money. And now that he's not, she doesn't want to be with him. And I'm sitting here going, I don't know what you expected. And it's going to be a rude awakening for all the men on these apps who are like, I want a traditional woman in another country. I want a woman in another country. I don't want a gold digger. I'm sorry. If you can't attract a woman here and keep a woman here who have lower standards than women in other cultures and other countries, good luck to you, because like that woman, as soon as the money runs out, you're gone. I don't blame her. My father's 54. I'm 30. So yeah, she married you because she wanted money.
Okay. Wow. The level of disrespect. Now, he has money, but he's dusty. Those two things don't make sense. The arrogance of her to actually suggest that the man never had enough common sense to put the house in his name. I don't know why any man who is smart enough to travel to a new country would not realize, hey, I need to put this house in my name. She don't even know that the house isn't or is in his name, but she mentioned it as if he's not smart enough to have put the house in his name. Yet, she grew up with her mother. So you can hear the poisoning of her mind and how she speaks about her father. I can almost assure you that that father wanted to be with her more than anything else, and that mother kept her away from him. I can almost guarantee you that was the problem. And she now grown up scarred because she was held away from her father. So she has no father to have groomed her into understanding about life. And gentlemen, this is just another example. This is a girl that would get online and shame the seed that she came from. I would never do that to my father. I don't care what my father did. Never would I ever talk bad about my father. No, even though he's gone, I would never do that. Wow.
I think men here have really high expectations of what women should be like, or actually they're very old-fashioned, if you ask me. They want women to do everything while they work. Going abroad.
They want women to do everything while they work. Please make that make sense. Sometimes you just got to let women ramble on just to hear what garbage is going on in their head, because no sense of logic, because nothing sensible is coming out of this woman's mouth. I almost don't even want to play this video, but it's an educational moment for you gentlemen to understand the mind of a woman. Okay, let's proceed.
And I think going abroad, they go for women who are more vulnerable, less exposure. They don't know what's available to them. So they just settle for someone like that because they think they're going to do everything for them. Whereas women here, we work, we raise children, we do everything. We're very domesticated.
If they are living the same life as the girl that they're going for, just as long as there's no double standards, it should be fine.
And my mother works and teaches me that, you know, to be financially independent is important. Here, we're always about equality. Like, women should be having the equal rights as men. And I think here they're against that, I guess, or intimidated. So they go for someone vulnerable with less opportunities, so they have a hold over them. Yes, they want us to be indoors at home behind barriers.
Run, gentlemen, run. She's either New Zealand or Australian. I sometimes I get those two accents, you know, mixed up. But it's still that Western Hemisphere mindset. The whole feminist poison is there for sure. She can't even put a coherent sentence together.
Now look at the difference between these two women.
For better.
For better.
For worse.
For worse.
For richer.
For richer.
For poorer.
For poorer.
We hit that snag about 20 times in counseling. Brill made it very clear to Jonathan, you cannot be broke. In sickness.
In sickness.
And in health.
And in health.
To love.
To love.
Cherish.
Cherish.
And to obey.
We didn't talk about that one in counseling.
We did talk about that in counseling. Yes, we did. So you want me to repeat that again? You want to just keep going?
I think we can keep going.
All right.
I'll forever submit to you, Miles. I'll forever respect you, Miles. I'll forever honor you, Miles, as the head of our home. In heaven, they hear. On earth, I declare and decree, I shall be a submissive wife unto you.
I don't know about you, but I know which one I'm willing to give my life for.
That first guy, he is screwed before he even signed the papers. He's sitting there laughing, thinking like, oh, this is so funny. He is screwed. He is so finished. That's a dead man walking right there. No, he has no idea. He's going to be the bitch in that relationship. He might as well put on that apron right there before he even signed the papers. And some men want that. Some men like that. But I can tell you, within the first 2 years, she's going to have a baby, if they haven't had a child already. And the third year, she'll have 1, 2, maybe 3 lovers. By year 5, he would have found out. He'll be crying all the way to the bank. She'll be taking every cent that he has. And he'll be back on the street, just like these men. Now, I showed this clip in the last video I did yesterday. However, it was at the end of the video, and I know a lot of you never got to the end of the video. I'm going to show you here so that you ladies can understand why men no longer want to get married. Because they don't want to end up like these guys.
Wife informed me that she wants a divorce, and I left just to
keep the peace.
Keep the peace, and I'm still here. The locks, I went back the next day and the locks were changed. And
I've been on the streets for about 30 years. And the reason why I become homeless is me and my wife got a crucial divorce. Bad marriage, I just a broken heart and hit the streets.
Me and my wife getting a divorce. Family, 1 minute they want you to stay. A week go by, time to leave again. So it's just very difficult.
Well, I went through a bad divorce, lost everything I had, and moved out here to start over. Went to the doctors, and doctors took me out of work because I got rheumatoid arthritis and my liver's failing.
Lost my house, my kids, my car to a violent relationship.
A broken marriage.
Relationship.
Yeah.
Lost it. I have emotional issues I couldn't deal with. Car broke down. Ran into the wrong people at the wrong time. Got robbed. Lost pretty much everything.
Divorce. Then I rented a room, and then I came down with epilepsy and started having seizures, and the guy didn't want me there. And the next thing I know, I was in a assisted living house.
Got a job in a restaurant again, which I was an executive.
All right. Now, one of the primary shaming language Western women have for men going, and why these women would want to marry these men, let's forget about the money, because it's 10 times cheaper to go to the Philippines for a woman to accept a man for his average salary. Because an average man in the West can go to the Philippines and become a high-value man to her. It's all about location, 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 guys. Remember that. A bottle of water in the desert is 10 times more valuable than if you were in a city. I hope you get my point. So this gentleman is just...
An Asian woman would marry you is because of the prospect of a better life.
You go find a wife in the Philippines or Thailand or wherever these places are that are overseas. They're just happy to be rescued from their poverty-stricken life of no opportunity.
You may or may not be able to speak English properly.
And if you want to call us uneducated and poor, that we will get any opportunity we can get just so we can get out of poverty. Men are supposed to be providers, so they are going to provide for their future partners and family. The bottom line is, we have what they are looking for. I don't understand where is the rage from these women coming from. Why are they even surprised their men leaving when they are the one who is causing it?
The only reason.
You see that? I love when these women just hit the nail on the head. These women are crying and coping. Oh, you guys just go. You just want women who take advantage of you, that will take your money. Yet, you have a woman who literally, on her wedding, says, yeah, I'm not accepting you if you ever go broke in our marriage. Yeah, make that make sense. What you ladies don't understand is that every man knows he has to pay a price. That's it. If we're going to protect and provide, there is a price, because the price is either my body or my wallet. Protect, provide. We know that we have to contribute. The problem is how much you are demanding. You're demanding 6 figures, 100,000 US dollars, 100,000 pounds, 100,000 euros, 100,000 Australian dollars. It doesn't matter. That's a shitload of money. When your average guy, that means middle, that means 80 to 90% of men don't get that amount of money in their lifetime, don't earn that. 80 to 90% in the West. You're demanding the top man, and you all don't realize that those men are incredibly rare. But you all have been listening to the fairy tales that you deserve this man, when none of you are in the top 90% of women. None of you. You're not virgins. You're not kind. You're not submissive. You're aggressive. You're literally men with tits. That's it. For some reason, you think that you're the best woman out there for men. No, you're not. And men are voting with their passport. They're saying, no, you're not the best, because I know that the best of the best is somewhere else, and she costs significantly less. And that's what you're dealing with, ladies. And so you're going to get some kickback here.
How much money do you need to earn to be considered rich here in the Philippines?
150,000 income every month. You would be able to maintain a car and to have a nice home, to be able to have this rich lifestyle.
Imagine yourself in a place like this, getting paid remotely $3,000-$4,000 a month, and you look good, take care of yourself. You don't think you would crush it?
Exactly. That's it. $2,700. That's all you need in the Philippines to have an incredibly rich lifestyle. That's US dollars. That's 150,000 Filipino pesos. Costs a lot less to get a woman to be interested in you there. And that woman will be 10 times more of a female than you are in the West. That's the problem. That's what you're competing with. All of you are saying, all of these black women out here and you chose a white woman? Let's hear what this gentleman says.
And white women is not even your biggest competition anymore, black ladies, for your black men. Your biggest competition now is the world. You're competing with the world for a black man. See, not all you black women, but some of you black women have told black men that they're trash, that they're not good enough, that they're not worthy of your love and your submission and cooperation and inspiration. So these men have decided, okay, I'll go where I'm appreciated. I just had someone on a live the other day, a black lady, tell a black man that $60,000 that he earns annually is not enough to even support himself, let alone a family. When families, and most people have 2 incomes in the household, make $71,000 on average in the United States of America. Now, that's why the Passport Bros movement is so big. Just think what a black man can do with that type of money in Brazil, Colombia, the Philippines, or Thailand.
Yeah. And that's what you guys don't understand. Women, you got to understand you're too expensive for your product. Your femininity is literally non-existent. And that's what men are willing to pay for. He can go somewhere else, anywhere else in the world right now, because there are a shortage of men in most countries. Most men have died from wars. There's always a problem with men. So women are in desperate need of men. And if they can find a man with US dollars and stay in their country, enjoy their family and have their own house in their own country without any problems, ooh.
Japanese woman. She's absolutely awesome. Let me tell you a little story. For around 10 years, I was dating around in the West. A number of terrible relationships full of shit testing, shit talking, downright emotional abuse, really. My heart completely shut. I just couldn't open up to anyone anymore. Then I went to Japan, and within 3 months, I met my wife. She was just so caring, so supportive. She genuinely wished for me to feel happy. She was the one who finally managed to unlock my heart. I fell for her. I don't wonder at all why #passport bros exist. So I married a Japanese woman.
There you go. He sounds Welsh. I might be wrong. Welsh or Scottish. I always try to guess accents. But he married a Japanese woman. We all are looking for love. That's it. That's it. We're looking for love. We want to pass on our next generation, our seed. We have that biological urge. But we want to live in peace and harmony with another human being. That's it. And we want to do that throughout the entire lifespan. That's all we want. That's all most human beings want. But for some reason, Western women have put these incredible standards on themselves, thinking that they are better than anyone else out there, and they should demand the highest price for themselves. That's the problem. But in the same process, cutting down, beating down the very men who protect and provide and build their society. That's the problem. I'll finish with this.
You have been telling men for years that you don't want them, that you don't need them, that they don't meet your standards, that they don't treat you right, that you can pay for your own hair, you can pay for your own nails, you can afford your own home, you can afford your own car. Men are good for nothing. You're strong, you're independent. But then you get mad when these men go to another country to actually find a woman that has the qualities that they are looking for in a wife. Make it make sense. I also want to talk about why this mindset that so many Western women have is actually extremely problematic. Because not only are you putting down the men who are going overseas with pure intentions, you're also putting down the women from these other countries solely off of the fact that they were not brought up in a Western culture. Because you're calling them uneducated, you're calling them poor, you're calling them weak, you're calling them vulnerable. You're creating a superiority complex where you are at the top and women from all these other countries are at the bottom. Now let me tell you something. If you were really superior, the men would not be leaving and you would not be single. Let me get this straight. You have been telling men for years that you don't
so sophisticated, so eloquently put. If you were that great, ladies, the men would not be leaving. That's the problem. that you don't see. Now, so one more video so that you can understand the ramification of what you're going to face in less than 10 years.
What do you suggest the women in the West do if, everyone's advice is for men in the West to look elsewhere for a wife? What happens to all the women in the West then?
Well, that one study we referenced was said by 2030 or something, 50% of the women will be without a man. So that's the direction we're heading, because two part of the problem. The men that are looking for those traditional values are starting to go overseas. And then two, the other half of the men are just checking out completely. They don't want to deal with women at all. So this is going to be a big issue that women are going to deal with in the future as their options dwindle.
And that, my friends, is the reality that we're facing. It's not hypothetical. It's a reality. All right, guys, I'm going to cut it there. This one ran a bit long, but I'm hoping it was entertaining enough because I had a lot of videos. You didn't just have to listen to me ramble along. I'm going to be focusing on the Passport Bros for the next couple of videos because men have been asking me what is the solution to their problem. And that's my advice. I say, listen, man, if you can't find a woman in your town, go to another town. Go to another city. Okay? If you can't find them in the city, go to another country. It's simple. Get a bloody passport. So, guys, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and of course, book a session with the older man. Let me help you out. Let me mentor you through any of your problems that you might be having. And of course, remember, whenever in doubt, always ask an older man. All right? I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.